Hi, folks. Just to prove I'm here in my messy office. Of course, any room that has a house attached to it with 5 dogs is going to have a certain amount of mess. All right, that's enough of me. Let's start going with the forecast as I see it for the next few days, which, of course, will include the more critical days for those of you who are not semi to mostly retired like me, the weekend. But for today, it is getting brighter out there. This is satellite imagery from the new GOES 16 high resolution satellite. And it's a little hard to see, but if we come in really close to the tip of eastern Lake Erie, the amount of ice is diminishing. A good part of, not all of, the ice boom has been removed, and ice is now, if you head down the 190, you'll get a nearly spectacular show of ice flows flowing down the river toward the falls. And by the way, that is something which has occurred slightly later than average this year. I believe the average ice boom removal date is a little sooner than it occurred this year. But we did have some protracted cold in the latter part of the winter. So we're going to jump over to a forecast product put out by the National Weather Service headquarters. And this is the picture they are depicting for Friday morning across the country. But let's care about our part of the country. That dark green, that indicates some steady rain. And some of the guidance I've looked at suggests the rain will begin before dawn in the pre-dawn hours of Friday, with the heaviest rain Friday morning tending to diminish during the afternoon. Let's take a look at some computer output in terms of models. And first we're going to go to a high resolution model, which only goes out 60 hours. It's a much more detailed model, but we'll take a look at the period heading into the current time into Friday. And there you see no precipitation near us. Those thin black lines, those are isobars, lines of equal barometric pressure, and when they are spaced far apart like they are here, that indicates not terribly strong winds. There is definitely a breeze out there. It is definitely chilly. In fact, the 1 p.m. temperature is way below average at the airport, 44 degrees with a west breeze. The average high temperature this time of the year is getting closer to 60, and we will not even get close to that today. That H, that's high pressure. That's denser, heavier air that sinks and squishes the clouds. So now we're looking ahead for the end of the day, the high pressure system right over us, which means winds will be very light tonight. Clear skies, light winds means cold temperatures, well below average for tonight. But starlit skies, I'm so romantic. Then tomorrow, a much nicer day in terms of human comfort. The winds will be lighter and the temperatures are going to warm up. Now, there's still going to be locally quite a bit chillier near Lake Erie, which is still at 32. It's going to make its big move to above freezing any time now. And then as you move inland tomorrow, some interior locations should be getting up to 60 and better, which 60 would be close to where we should be, and some spots should make it into the 60s. So we're really good to go for tomorrow. If you have tomorrow off, you are lucking out. Then tomorrow evening, we're going to stay dry, but let's move ahead and right on past Thursday. Clouds thickening tomorrow night, so less starlit skies, in fact, hardly any at all. You see showers, some heavy showers, possible thunder showers developing over Ohio. This is, at 9 o'clock in this model. Tomorrow night, and then as we get into the late night hours, we stay dry during the going out hours. And then as we move to, this is 1 a.m., 2 a.m., this model has showers beginning to get into Chautauqua County at 2 or 3 in the morning, quickly overspreading the region. And those colors are indicating some pockets of heavier showers. And possible, although it's not showing up in some of the data, there could be some rumbles of thunder with this. The area of low pressure right near Cleveland, and this is at 4 in the morning or so in this model. So the Friday morning commute going to be wet, maybe even a little bit of ponding on some of the roadways and poorly drained intersections, that kind of thing. And then you see the rain continues with a chance of a few heavier downpours during the morning hours. Now we're moving through the morning, and it begins to become more scattered as we get to later in the morning. But the showers are still around as we approach. This is around 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Still some showers midday, and then we do see diminishing in coverage during the afternoon, but it won't be totally dry until late in the day. This is 4 o'clock, and you see the showers pulling away. And then we head into Saturday, and Saturday is looking just terrific. But let's move to a different model, the American model that goes out farther in time, the GFS, which doesn't have as much detail. When you go farther out in time, the models just can't give you the kind of detail. This is that model's depiction of a wet Friday. So again, the basic picture, getting wet for the morning commute, especially on Friday, maybe a few downpours here and there, showers thinning in the afternoon, and a dry, cool Saturday. Any really big warm-up showing up in the next few days? Nuh-uh. Temperatures still below average as we move into Saturday. Note the orientation of the isobars from the northwest to the southeast. That means the winds will be blowing northwest to southeast. You can't get too warm with that kind of a flow. It'll be a very pretty day, but temperatures probably only in the low 50s. And then come Sunday, this model, as other models, have us getting pretty chilly Saturday night in advance of the next round of precip, which gets here for Sunday. And I want to show you something that's a little bit ominous in this model. You see that color blue? That means the GFS, as we get to about 2 or 3 in the morning, Sunday morning, is actually showing a little wet snow over the higher elevations. And then it gives a little bit more oomph to some of that wet snow to the east of Buffalo. Note what's going on north of Detroit in this model. The center of low pressure is, well, let me just point to it. It's here near northwest Pennsylvania, near Cleveland. And my suspicion based on pattern recognition is this model is overdoing this trend, but look what it's showing for midday Sunday. It is showing wet snow at higher elevations. Not the city of Buffalo, but it's actually got a patch of snow over parts of southeast Erie and Wyoming County where that snow is coming down with a raw northeast breeze. Now, I would totally dismiss this if this were the only model that was showing that kind of nasty thing. But let's jump to a different model, the Canadian model. Same hour, and look at the coloring it's got. That is indicating to me that despite current official forecasts from the Weather Service showing a high in the low 50s for Sunday, and that it's a great office. I'm not offering criticism. It's my feeling that they're going to have to back off on those temperatures. Whether any of this wet snow materializes, it will be too warm for it to stick, even if it does. And then there's one other model with which Weather Service headquarters is not high on just yet. It's a new model that will replace the GFS. It at least dries us out a little bit sooner on Sunday. But before it dries us out, look what it has. Some of that snow and mixed precipitation. So with that in mind, Saturday is the day you want to do outdoor stuff. Sunday, even if not a flake shows up, looks like a loser of a day with kind of a raw northeast breeze. And then temperatures, of course, running way below average, will be nowhere near 60 and still pretty cool as we get into the beginning of next week, but nice and bright and dry, of course, when you go back to work. You, anyway, not me. On Monday, that high pressure right over Pennsylvania, light winds, full sunshine helping out. And if that's all the information you need, you can cut off here. You can just drop me like a hot rock. But if you want to stick around a little longer, we're just going to take a look at what's called an ensemble. This is a cluster of many model runs for the upper air flow over the next few days. And this is the real teller of the story for temperature trends. This is a depiction, this ensemble, of the flow aloft come Saturday evening. And you note that dip over Minnesota, that's that approaching area of low pressure. And then you see for Sunday, we've got the polar vortex up here. It still exists. It will tend to go away in the next few weeks for the most part, but it's still up there. And a west-northwest flow aloft. Now, we showed you the northwest flow at the surface, too, so you just can't get really warm with that. But there is some hope as we get into next week. Keep an eye now on the southeast United States. That is a warm ridge of high pressure stacked up in the atmosphere, which is going to push warmer air to the middle Atlantic states and somewhat warmer with a west-southwest flow, not northwest, up here. So our temperatures will be in this ensemble showing good signs of recovery as we end April and begin May with that warm ridge sticking around. By next Thursday, it's still there. Temperatures will probably go a little above average. You're just going to have to wait until midweek next week to see those above average temperatures. But you see, there is some hope. I wish I could tell you that this weekend has a chance of a real turnaround for Sunday. I don't think so, but at least Saturday will be pretty, if cool to the touch. So that's all I have for now. And I lucked out. The dogs stopped barking. They were barking. And I'm going to do another YouTube feature here on Don Paul Blathers probably tomorrow. I'll let you know in advance. And hopefully it's going to deal with something in what I call, and some of you call, junk science. I sure hope that doesn't include my forecast. Talk to you soon.